classic. Just a classic looking deer. Unreal.
What's up guys, Will here, and I want to welcome you back to the HuntStand channel for a new episode of the Whitetail Posse. I hope that all of y'all had a very happy Thanksgiving with your family, your friends, got to spend some time in the stand chasing after some deer, and hopefully even arrowed or shot your target buck, or you're getting close to doing that soon. You still got time depending where you're at in the nation. On today's episode, we're going to be following our very own Josh Dahlke again on his deer lease in Wisconsin as he's trying to arrow a mature buck with his 10-point crossbow. And specifically, he's had this one buck that he's been keeping tabs on, and he's been spending a lot of time on this deer lease in Wisconsin. He's been hunting since I think mid-September, and he's had a lot of cool encounters, got lots of deer footage, so y'all are gonna get to see that throughout this hunt. But we're gonna back it up into November, and specifically November 12th, where the conditions were finally right for Josh. But before we get to the deer hunting footage, y'all, just remember, if you haven't yet, download the HuntStand app. We got the free version, we got the pro version, and then new this fall, I know y'all have seen it, is the Pro Whitetail tier to HuntStand. And within this tier of Pro Whitetail, you get a whitetail activity forecast, you get a rut map, you get aerial imagery, monthly satellite imagery, and a lot of other features. And these features specifically have helped me bag a buck, which y'all are gonna see soon here on the HuntStand channel for another episode of Whitetail Posse. But before we do that, make sure you download the HuntStand app, Pro Whitetail, upgrade to it today. I'm gonna quit rambling and let's go hop in the stand with our man Josh Dahlke.
Going into my 2022 whitetail season, I made it a goal to hold out for a mature buck. This was something I'd never done before. But after several consecutive years of tagging out during the early season, I was just excited to hopefully stretch out my deer season and get to be in the woods during the rut. This is like the main staging area. There's just no doubt about it. So at some point I got to give this a shot for sure. It's a main hub. All right, it's August 5th. Came out here a week ago, scouted some possible stand locations. We're hanging a stand right now. Probably be a good all-season spot, to be honest. Early season, through the whole thing, into the rut. Maybe even late season, depending on what these deer are eating and whatnot. But just gonna get this stand hung up and continue to do some work out here today and set the stage for another good deer season.
So when I was a kid, I would hang sets like this without a safety belt or safety harness or anything. I'd just climb up the tree, hang a stand. No, nothing stopping me from falling. That is insane and incredibly dangerous. So I have evolved since then, luckily. Now I use kind of a two-part system. One is this tree saddle, which has a lineman's belt around it. So this goes around the tree and hooks to either side. And I use it to climb up and hold myself as I'm doing the steps. Then we hang these lifelines at the top, and then I clip into that onto my belt. So I've basically got two kind of points securing me at the top of the tree. Now that's one for safety, but then two just for ease, because then I can hang onto the tree with the belt and still be secure. So I have both of my hands totally free. And if I slip, this is already tight. I'm not gonna fall anywhere.
It is Sunday, September 11th, and I just decided to come out here. It's 6 days before archery opener in Minnesota and Wisconsin, so I'm out at my Wisconsin lease today. Made some time to add to an existing scrape and then spruce up another smaller scrape. The one that's getting hit, I think there's a pretty good buck on it. And we do have a stand in the woods where I think he's coming from, so 6 days until the opener. Honestly, tonight is as much of an observation sit for me as it is really feeling like I have a chance to shoot a buck. I know there are some big bucks hanging out in this woodlot in front of me. When I was out here on my last sit, my only sit so far this year, I was hunting just not too far from here in the timber in a staging area. When I came out, there was a big deer feeding kind of right on the edge of the beans and the corn, and I just couldn't make out what it was. It was too dark. So I did put out a Montana decoy tonight. I've got the doe decoy out just to give these deer some extra confidence, hopefully, if they have trouble with this bale blind, adjusting to it. But there's so many hay bales out here, I have a feeling they're probably going to be okay with it, but you just never know. So I've got the decoy out there. I'm ready to rock. It's 4:20 p.m., September 29. About to head out to my stand here. I just talked to the farmer. He mowed a bunch of the alfalfa today, so a lot of times that gets the deer moving. Actually, while he was doing some farming last year is when I shot my first buck here on this property of the season. Ended up shooting another one later in the season with a gun, but my crossbow buck was killed right after he just done some field work right by where I was hunting. So I'm gonna head out. I've never sat at the stand before. My friend Alex killed off of it last year. Don't really know what to expect in here, but the wind is right for it, so I'm gonna give it a shot. After that one fluke encounter with one of our biggest target bucks on September 29, I would get what I wished for. I got to spend lots of time on stand or in a blind, capturing close encounters with all sorts of deer. Just no mature bucks. While I'm not a big believer in the October lull, it wasn't until October 30, the start of the peak rut for this area, that I had another big buck encounter. He just wasn't the mature beast that I had committed to hunting. On November 6, Alex finally had the right wind to slip into the stand that we had hung together along the creek in early August. He had one special deer in mind, a giant buck that we had nicknamed Split Ear. This buck was daylighting and showing up on several cameras across the farm, especially in the morning. Alex executed a perfect 20-yard shot at sunrise, ending the legend of Split Ear. But my pursuit of another legend was just beginning. There's a block of timber on this property that we generally reserve as a sanctuary, with only a couple of stands hung on the perimeter for easy entry and exits. Throughout the season, we started getting several pictures of a mature 8-pointer we started calling the Top Woods 8. He was clearly a homebody. We agreed our best chance at this buck would be a calculated move into his core area during the rut, but the time just wasn't right quite yet. full disclosure, I was not planning on sitting this afternoon, but the morning was actually pretty eventful despite the wind conditions. So I had a what appeared to be possibly a shooter right at first light that skirted me. Wasn't able to get footage, it happened so fast. I was trying to get my bow ready and then the camera, and then he was gone. And then I had a button buck come through and did it right about 10 yards. And then about an hour or so later, I had a buck come busting out of the swamp right at me. Was not a shooter, pretty cool looking buck, but I'd like to give him another year. I think he's a 3-year-old, and pretty sweet encounter. Got that on film, and he ended up getting downwind of me and bailed out of there. So I'm gonna dip back down into here, sit on a old school tower blind. I've been wanting to sit in this thing all season for some reason. It's part of the reason is because we haven't sat over there at all. We don't have a camera over there, so it's gonna be exciting. I don't know what to expect, but it's a really high tower blind, and it kind of sketches me out. So it's windy. I don't know. I'm a little bit creeped out about it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So let's get out there and climb on up.
Looks like I made the right choice choosing the shelter.
The encounters of November 8th were proof that this was the time for planning all-day sits. I was under the weather with a terrible cough and body aches, but I knew my time was running slim to make an aggressive move on the Top Woods 8. Alright my friends, it is November 10, and today is a day of rejuvenation. I have decided to start fresh, start with a whole new approach on this rut hunt, because I've been sick for the past week. I'm just now starting to turn the corner where I feel better. My house was a mess, my gear was all disorganized, my laundry was dirty. I just was not feeling good about life. So I'm deciding to take today to regroup and start anew on this rut hunt, because if I were to continue on the path that I was on, even if I would have ended up getting a deer, it just wouldn't have felt good, and I want to feel good. So what I'm going to do today is get everything back in organization, start over, and as hard as it is to do, I feel like I should be in a tree stand. I really feel like it's necessary for me to do this. So we've got a really weird warm front that rolled in the past couple of days. It's almost 70 degrees right now, which is just uncharacteristically warm. It's been raining, but we're supposed to have another wicked cold front rolling in for this weekend. Temperatures are going to drop, might even get a little bit of snow. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go get some work done out here on the farm. I'm going to rip off the Band-Aid, and there's a spot where we've had one particular buck living, and I really want to hunt him, but it's been impossible to get in there. We don't have a tree stand currently set up in there. So I'm going to rip off the Band-Aid today. I'm going to get the Yamaha fired up. I'm going to go pull a tree stand from another spot. I'm going to go put it right in the main travel corridor where these bucks have been cruising through this little wood lot. And I'm going to have it prepped so I can hunt it this weekend, probably with an all-day sit. So it's going to be a little bit painful to drive in there because I know I'm going to bump deer out, but I feel like it's the right thing to do for the long game. And then if it gets me all the way into rifle season and I don't shoot one with my bow, it'll be a great setup for that as well. Gotta love a big back seat. It's my mobile dressing room. It is quite nice. And with the leather seats and the WeatherTechs on the floor, pretty much scent free.
So it works. I'm not looking forward to going out there right now. Honestly, I'm an hour before legal shooting light right now, and it's cold. It's 27 degrees. Got about a 8 to 12 mile per hour wind, somewhere in that neighborhood, and I'm gonna have to bundle up, try not to sweat too much on the way in, but super excited to get in this stand. I've been wanting to hang a stand and hunt in this spot for a while. It's just right in the thick of it. There's doe bedding all up in there. This buck's been living in there. He's got a big scrape in there. I'm nervous, I'm excited, and dang it, I don't want to get cold, but here we go.
What a morning. I really have no words. It's the kind of morning that every deer hunter lives for. Never had a morning like that myself. Just absolutely unbelievable. I'm gonna go review the footage. I think I made a good shot on that deer. I'd like to think I made a good shot on that deer, but I decided to just pull out. Speechless, so stick with me and we'll see where this thing ends up. Okay, I've got Alex here and just reviewing the video footage for the first time. It's amazing what video can do, because we first looked at the footage and it looked amazing, and then I slowed it down and it doesn't look amazing. It looks low, about center mass. So if I caught bottom lungs, sweet. If I didn't, not so sweet. So now all we can do is just go in there and try to take up the blood trail and be smart about it. But definitely the power of video. Under any circumstance, even if you can just run a GoPro to get a second look to review your shot, it's very helpful. I was feeling really good about it even up until I watched this video internally. I didn't want to admit that out loud to jinx myself, but now that we watched it, not too excited, but Alex is my good luck charm, so we're gonna go try to take a look, and maybe he's laying in there. I don't know.
We'll find him. All right, it's been about 4 hours. It's gonna roll in here. I mean, the shot don't look good on video, but I know there was good first blood, so we're just gonna take it easy. We got the wind in our favor. It's blowing this way, the deer is that way. We're just gonna creep in. Luckily, there's a little drop over there, so we're gonna be able to creep up to the edge and kind of look down in there. And if he is laying down in there, hopefully we could spot him if he's still alive. I mean, hopefully he's not, but if he is, we have a pretty good trail to follow right now in terms of overall recovery success chances, I think. So we're just gonna see where the blood leads us. I hope he's in there. He's a tremendous buck. He owns this woodlot. This is his domain, so I'm kind of sick right now, but we're gonna give it our best. That's that dude. It's been a while, but I don't smell any guts on this thing. There's a lot of hair, but whatever. The deer is covered in hair. I think he's dead. What? Right there, behind that dead tree. Positive? Yeah. Just real. I mean, keep loaded up. You see him? You see his belly? See the skinny tree right here? The dead one? It's right behind it. Oh my God. King of the top timber. It's a majestic 8-point. God, what a classic. Just a classic looking deer. Unreal.
It's November 12th, and it's been a heck of a season out here. Honestly, it's been a roller coaster. I haven't spent this much time whitetail hunting, to be honest with you, perhaps ever. I don't know if it's I've been lucky or what, or it's because I mainly focused on firearms for a lot of my life, but the season just drug on and drug on and drug on. But also part of that is because this year I went into the season and I told myself that on this particular property, I wanted to just step it up a notch. I wanted to shoot a mature deer. I wanted to shoot a better deer than I had in the past. And honestly, part of the reason why I wanted to do that was because I knew that it was going to prolong my season. So it was sort of self-inflicted how this drug out. Yeah, I could have got lucky early, but when you're going after mature bucks, luck is usually not much of a thing. It's more about grinding it out. At least that's what I've learned from a lot of other people who have done it successfully. And that's exactly what I did. I hunted somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 15 to 20 sits or something like that. And it finally paid off. I made an aggressive move that was endorsed by my buddy who I have this lease with here, the guy behind the camera, Alex Robinson, who killed our #1 just about a week ago. And we knew that there was this buck living up in this woodlot up here. It was his home turf. He was just such a homebody. He was on camera all the time. He just was making a big presence, but we never touched this place, and we knew that the only way to get after him was to do an aggressive new stand setup. So literally 2 days ago, in the rain, I grabbed the Yamaha, I pulled another stand, I drove in here like I owned the place, left the machine running the whole time, hung the stand, and I didn't really know what the perfect wind was going to be for this woods, but I figured it's the rut. I just got to spend some time in here. So I made 3 sandwiches, a burrito, some coffee, packed my pack, got everything organized, took some time to regroup, came up in here. First sit was covered up in deer the whole morning. It was probably one of the best mornings I've ever had whitetail hunting. Had multiple encounters with this guy. I knew exactly who it was the moment I saw him, having looked at pictures of him, and it was just undeniable. This was the big 8 that we had living up here, and he was on a doe. I don't know if it was lockdown or what it was, but he did not want to leave her, and she just happened to walk in between me and him and her fawns, drug him out into one shooting lane that I had for my crossbow, and thankfully the broadhead really did the trick. I know that's kind of a cliche, but the shot wasn't perfect, but at the same time this deer didn't go far, and here he is right now in all his glory. The king of the upper woods, biggest 8-point I've ever shot in my life. Just a tremendous deer, and November 12 is going to be a day that I will always remember as a deer hunter in Wisconsin.
All right, y'all. Kudos to Josh. Congrats, my man, on killing a great, mature Wisconsin buck. That's Josh's most mature and biggest 8 that he has shot to date. And so if y'all want to see more of this Whitetail Posse and more deer hunting action, you want to make sure that you like, subscribe, and make sure you hit that little bell down there below, so that way you get notified whenever we put any kind of content like this up with the Whitetail Posse, deer hunting footage, or any kind of other content we have like our HuntStand originals. You don't want to miss out on all the awesome content we're putting out throughout the year. So just make sure, like, subscribe, hit that bell, get notifications. Thanks again for tuning into this week's episode of the Whitetail Posse, and we'll see you on the next one.